from PRX.
Sleep With Me podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix Sleep. And I don't know if you've taken the quiz yet at helixsleep.com/sleep, but I have my Helix at home. I love my Helix because it's fit for how I sleep and my sleep and feel preferences. But I'm looking at getting another Helix. So this summer, there's a cabin I'm going to be staying at, so I can have a bed that fits how I sleep. And maybe you should have a bed that fits your needs, right? Whoever, has your mattress ever asked you, hey, tell me more about your needs and your feel preferences. What would make you comfortable? Well, that's why you got to take this Helix quiz. The Helix Sleep Quiz matches you with the perfect mattress based on your personal preferences and sleep needs. It makes buying a mattress easy. And Helix is the most awarded mattress brand. It's tested and reviewed by experts like Forbes and Wired. There's free shipping and seamless delivery right to your door with free shipping in the U.S. They have the Happy with Helix guarantee, so you can rest easy with seamless returns and exchanges. The Happy with Helix guarantee offers a risk-free, customer-first experience designed to ensure you're completely satisfied with your new mattress. There's a 120-night sleep trial and a lifetime limited warranty. And Helix helps you sleep better. A study they ran found 82% of those involved saw an increase in their deep sleep cycle while sleeping on a Helix mattress. And oh boy, do they have a great sale for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep for 27% off site-wide during their Memorial Day sale now through May 31st. This offer is exclusive for listeners of Sleep With Me. That's helixsleep.com/sleep for this exclusive offer. 27% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. That's helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for a succession of restful developments. Will it be a successful succession? It'll be meandering succession. I don't know if that's actually things in a row, right? Or proceeding I'm not going to look up the definition. There'll be pointless meanders and superfluous tangents one after another, and on and on and on. If you're new, welcome to Sleep With Me. It's a podcast that's here to keep you company and take your mind off of stuff so you could fall asleep, versus putting you to sleep directly. Sleep With Me is here to be your friend in the deep, dark night and bring you sleepy joy and delight. That's what we strive to do. Don't know if we actually achieve quite, striving for something. You say define greatness in terms of lulling and boringly meandering people to sleep to keeping them company. Well, success would be the ultimate success would be bringing sleepy joy and delight to everybody, and in a way that helps them get the rest they need so that they can they can be out there in the world flourishing, living their lives. So, by the way, I went off on a meander already. This is supposed to just be the very beginning of the podcast. So welcome to Sleep With Me. Whether you're new or you're coming back after a long absence, what we got coming up is support, so that paying for the podcast is optional. And then a long meandering intro meant to ease you into bedtime. And then we'll be talking about our somewhat of a TV recap style podcast through the lens of dreaming. We call it a succession of restful developments. And also, we'll be here about an hour. I'm really glad you're here. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you're new, you only listen occasionally, you're going through a tough time, you're not in a position, you choose not to, don't worry. But if this podcast changes your life for the better on a regular basis, if you could consider supporting the show back via either one of these sponsors or directly, this is how we're able to be here for you, making your life better, and everybody else. Thanks. Everybody, hey, this is Scoots. I'm going to be talking about something not sleepy at all. It's very important, but it's not sleepy at all. But it's only for a select part of the audience. So if you don't want to support the show, you're not in a position to support the show, you're not interested, that's totally fine. This is not a reverse message. I'm not here to change a single person's mind. I'm only here to get through to the listeners who in their hearts have already decided to support the show. There's just a brain bod, a thought or a feeling or whatever it is that's in the way, that's saying, put it off. My $7 doesn't matter. Scoots doesn't need my support. I know he's asking. I'll do it one day. He can't possibly be talking. Someone else is going to do it. I want to do it, but I can't. But I can, but like, those are just brain bots. What does your heart say? If you can support the show, if you've already decided, you just haven't done it yet, right? So take a minute and imagine if or went away. But that's a reality we're facing. It would be terribly sad, but we don't need to. You just have to get through to the people who've been waiting, putting it off or saying it doesn't matter or thinking someone else will do it. The biggest one is thinking your $7, your $60 a year doesn't matter, because it does. But it doesn't need to be that way. We have enough people who've listened and listen all the time, who in their hearts, I know, I just got to get a hold of you. And for you to know that what I need you to do is support it right now. Don't wait for that part of you, that brain bot, to talk you out of it. Go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus right now. Sign up, support the show. Please don't wait. And then you'll know the podcast will be here. It'll be here for me and for everybody else. Thanks. Oh, Mystery Bart, a lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Posty poster son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes too. Carl W. the legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bart. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Hannah like banana. Leah does the transcript.
Thanks, Mr. Bart. Don't forget, if you haven't heard about Surprised by Scooter, if you're spreading the word about the show, you're tagging me in social media or emailing me through the form on our website, I'm going to surprise some people who are spreading the word about the show, just letting people genuinely know about their experience with the podcast, with subscriptions to Sleep With Me Plus, maybe a personal video, maybe some stickers, who knows? So get out there and be surprised by Scoots. Thanks, everybody. What do you say we get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever is keeping you awake. It could be thoughts, things on your mind, about thoughts about the past, the present, the future, thoughts you're thinking about. It could be feelings, anything coming up for you emotionally related to those thoughts or feelings that are just there. It could be physical sensations. It could be changes in time, temperature, routine. You could be going through something. You could be getting over something. You could be in the middle of something. Whatever it is, I'm here to keep you company and take your mind off of it so you could fall asleep. And the only reason I run through some of that stuff or talk about it is so that you get the sense that you're not alone in the deep, dark night. that you don't have to be on your own totally, that there's other friendly people out there trying to help or rooting for you. And that maybe even some of us understand what brought you here, where you're coming from, or what it feels like for you in the deep dark night, or we could relate to it. That's what I found is one of the hardest parts of this whole sleep thing for me is like when I'm in a room with another person or in a house full of people or whatever it is, and I can't sleep. It just feels, it's isolating, I guess, or it makes me feel like I am on my own and that nobody kind of gets it. And so this place is not like that. Here we get it or we want to get it. Like our goal is to make you feel welcome and seen. But you may be thinking, I mean, especially if you're new, you might be like, I don't know what you're talking about. You might be skeptical or doubtful. Or like, why are you even talking about not being able to sleep on a sleep podcast? I'm just here for escape or to forget about all that stuff. And I get that. But this show is about, or the foundation, I guess what's underlying the rest of the show and the reason the show exists is because we're all coming here together in an indirect way across ones and zeros, I guess, in a sense. But beneath that, there is a very real indirect connection between everybody listening right now, because we've all been in a place we prefer not to be in. And there's enough people listening right now that someone somewhere in the world can relate to where, whatever it is that brought you here, they've been through something very similar, but they're like a regular listener. So they're thinking of you and they're smiling. Like they're doing their wind down routine or they're getting cozy in bed and they're rooting for you in the deep dark night because they've been there too. And they're hopeful you could get the rest you need and you deserve. That's why I make this show, because you deserve a bedtime where you don't have to dread it, where it doesn't feel like it's full of hassle and rigmarole. Like a bedtime that you could look forward to or at least feel neutral about. Even if you feel neutral about bedtime, you're like, well, it's not as bad as it was before. That's like the kind of thing that gives me purpose, making bedtime not as bad as before. Now, sure, I strive to bring sleepy joy and delight in the deep dark night, but making it just a little bit better or a little bit less worse means something to me because I know what it's like. And if it's different for you, there's somebody out there that gets that too that's listening. They're saying, oh, I hope this show can help you like it helped me. I didn't realize there's something out there like this. And this is the beginning of the show. So this is the kind of time we gather as an indirect community. And it is rebellious to be there in your room, winding down, and to send goodness and kindness, well wishes, to root for other people that are struggling. And you could do it for people that are struggling in the same way you struggle with sleep or during the day. Or you could send it out to everybody listening, or everybody within 10 miles, or everybody in the world. And that's really the magic beneath this show. And it comes out of a place of like, well, I'd prefer to just go to sleep. So I don't know. That's why what I mean when I say I'm glad you're here. But this show is very different. So the other heads up I like to give people is that when most people get here, you might be skeptical, you might be doubtful, you might be frustrated. You're probably like, what is this person going on? I thought this was a sleep podcast. Where's the kind of soothing music or modulated tones? Like, this kind of feels a little bit more like nonsense. And I say, yeah, it is. It does take some getting used to. What over the past 13 years I've been making the show, I get emails all the time over that 13 years that say, yeah, first 2 tries, I didn't like your show at all. Didn't like you at all. The second try, I was kind of annoyed or skeptical or didn't understand what was happening. And then on the third try, I realized, oh, this show is always going nowhere. He is always never getting started. He is serious about nonsense. And then I fell asleep and you were talking, I don't even know what you were talking about. So just give it a few tries and see how it goes. You really have nothing to lose. I mean, for some people, it works on the first try. They're like, oh, wow, I've been hoping there was something out there like this, like a friend I could hang out with in the deep, dark night. But give it a few tries, see how it goes. If it doesn't work out or you already know that it's a no, we have a website set up with other sleep podcasts and sleepy stuff on there. Like other sleep podcasts that are not like Sleep With Me. It's sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. So you could find something else that might help you out. So try that out. sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. Especially if it's definitely not a fit. Yeah, just go over there and hopefully everything I set up into this point is true. And hopefully so that helps you find something that works for you. So that's one thing. This is also a podcast that you don't exactly listen to. You kind of listen. You just barely listen. It's kind of like a TV on in the other room or a show streaming under your pillow. Like something, a friend that you're not really listening to or you're kind of barely listening to them. Hey, tell me about, don't you watch a lot of shows? Can you tell me about, can you compare two shows that probably could be, that have some things in common, but they're not really similar? Oh, yeah. I mean, I've so many years I've thought about the similarities between the Banana Stand and Royco. I mean, there's too many similarities to count that are dissimilar. Oh, yeah. Could you tell me more about that? Oh, I can. Oh, and I will. Like we've all had a friend like that or been at a seminar or a conference or some classroom where we just couldn't quite pay attention. This is like that, but you have full permission not to pay attention to me, but you could pay attention. I'll be here being somewhat engaging the whole time because the way it works is I send my voice across the deep dark night. I use lulling, soothing, creaky dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents. So my voice is not traditionally soothing, and I kind of go off topic. I get mixed up. I forget what I was talking about. Like, I think I had a pointless meander at the beginning of the show. A lot of these are like a little bit more full-hearted just because I'm in a full-hearted mood because I love making this podcast so much. But, like, I just realized that I'm wearing like some velour today. And then I didn't realize that velour and Velcro, I just never made the connection that they both start with velour, Velcro. And velour is like that like a kind of clothing. I think it was popular in the 70s, maybe the 50s, 60s, 70s. It's a little bit softer, not quite fuzzy, but fuzzy-like. And then Velcro has a fuzzy side and a looped side, right? Or looped side and, the fuzzy side is actually little hooks, right? And that's how it works. Other than that, so is that some sort of, what's that thing called at the beginning of a word? Is it some sort of, is that Greek for touch? I don't know. So, is anyone like, anyway, it's going nowhere. This, always going nowhere. This particular meander is just a thought that popped in my head. Velour, Velcro. I don't know. Was there ever there could be a name for twins. Not a great name since one is like, I think probably a copyrighted or trademark corporate term. Or maybe they both are. But maybe their family's in the clothing business or something. I don't know. So, yeah, that's a mini pointless meander and superfluous tangent. Because, this is a podcast you just barely listen to, like an out-of-focus picture, sand passing through your hands. This is also a sleep podcast that's not here to put you to sleep. There is no pressure to fall asleep with this show. That's the reason the episodes are over an hour. So you don't ever have to think about going to sleep. There's over 600 plus episodes available to everybody. So you can make playlists or pick the episodes that you like that work for you. Because, yeah, there's no pressure to fall asleep. There's people listening who can't sleep at all or who need a break during the day, who are waking up in the middle of the night trying to get back to sleep, or who have a job where they need something to listen to in the background. So I'm here to the very end for them and for you. Whether you're awake or asleep, whether you're listening to me or not, I'll be here to the end of the show to keep you company, because my job is to be your boar friend, your boar bay, your boar sib, your neighbor, your boar bee, your boarman, your Boris Borloff, your chairman of the boards, your best boar friend forever, to hang out with you. That's what a boar friend does, keep you company, tell you a story so you could fall asleep. So that's what I'll do. I'll be here. The other thing I like to run through at the beginning of the show, especially for new listeners, because it can really throw new listeners off, is the structure of the show and why we structure the show the way we do. And if you find that this particular version of the show, you have a preference of it being a little bit different, what your options are. So this version of the podcast, this ad-supported, listener-supported version of the show, is the one that benefits the maximum amount of people over the years that we found it can. Because most people just listen to this episode linearly, and I'll explain to you kind of how they listen. So the show starts off with a greeting. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So you feel seen and welcomed, and you say, oh, okay, I could check that show out. It feels nice enough. Then there's support, like asking for listener support or sponsors. So that paying for the show is optional. Like, it's the only way the team and I can make the show and keep putting it out. But that support is really for only the people that listen night after night, whose lives are changed by the podcast. When they support the show and the sponsors, it exists for everybody else, new people, people that listen occasionally, people that are going through a tough time right now, but they won't need the show in 6 months. Or people that, aren't in a position to support the show or just don't support things. Like, all of them, and if that's you, you get to benefit. It's cool, huh? And, those people who support the show are rebels, and everybody benefits. But it is necessary. And if you prefer something without ads, like, you could get that at Sleep With Me Plus. But after that is the intro, which we're doing right now. And the intro is totally separate from the support. It's a show within a show. Goes on for 15 to 20 minutes where I explain what the podcast is. I follow a familiar structure every time, but every intro is new. So it gives a level of reassurance and familiarity, but it also has variety. So whatever it is that's keeping you awake, if you have the style like I do where it constantly points out repetition, like at least this way, it's like, oh, okay, he's going to talk about something different this intro, but he's still going to go through the main things, and then every episode's going to be different. But the reason the intro is 15 to 20 minutes, other than my inefficiency at explaining what the podcast is the fact that the intro is not meant to put you to sleep. While there is a small percentage of people that fall asleep fast, and I always point out, if you fall asleep fast and you just happen to be hearing this now, please consider supporting the show, because that's like one of the toughest audience groups to capture, right? But yeah, most people are winding down during the intro. They're getting ready for bed. They're in bed getting comfortable. They're petting their pets. They're doodling, crocheting, knitting, hooking, looking out the window, doing something else relaxing as they ease into bedtime. One of those things for me is foam rolling, doing a couple of quick stretches, some breathing, whatever it is for you. You get to discover that, and ideally Sleep With Me is just a part of that, to get eased into bedtime, to have a buffer between being awake and asleep. So that's why the intro goes on and on and on. If you start listening to the show, you decide, I don't like the intros, you could get the story-only versions come out in a podcast twice a week called Bedtime Stories from Sleep With Me in every podcast app. Or if you support the show, you get the story-only versions the same day the intro, the full versions come out. But believe it or not, there's like people who support the show to get all intro versions twice a month. So it's different for everybody. But for most people, if you don't have a niche taste in sleep, I mean, that's okay. This version will always be here, ideally. But that's why the intro goes on and on and on. Then after the intro will be support. Then there'll be our episode about a succession of restful developments. And all told, we'll be here about an hour. And I am really glad you're here, and I really hope this show can help you out. I appreciate you coming by. And again, if this podcast night after night makes your life better, you wouldn't want this podcast to go away. It's valuable to you. You're the listeners we could really use support from. You could check out one of these sponsors or support the show directly, or you could think about it. Thanks. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots, and we're starting something new called Surprised by Scoots, where I want to catch you doing something right? I want to surprise you. And this is for anybody that wants to support the show, beyond financially supporting the sponsors or supporting the show directly. Like, in your heart, you love the podcast. In your heart, it's a big part of your life. And in your heart, you say, I love a surprise. Tell me more. Well, all you have to do is tell one person about the podcast. We used to do this one listener initiative. Tell one person about the show genuinely. How does the podcast help you? How's it changed your life? What are your favorite episodes? How did you discover the podcast? What did you think about it at first? Any of those things. Let one person know about it, whether it's online or in person, in a forum, on social media. If you do it, tag me at Dearest Scooter or send me a message through our website, and I'm going to try to surprise some of those people. I've got subscriptions to Sleep With Me Plus. I got a bunch of those to give away. I've got stickers, personal video from Scoot saying, you're surprised. Now I'm just going to randomly select people, but why wait? This will help the show so much. You're going to help whoever you let know about the podcast, because if the podcast changed your life, there's other people out there that haven't heard about the show. If they don't know about the podcast, you can't help them. They're out there struggling. So let people know about it, but don't spam. Just share your genuine experience with the show, and I'll be looking for you. I'll be looking to catch you and surprise you. You're like a little Pikachu. I'm going to catch you if I can, and it's going to be fun. So you could either tag me at Dearest Scooter, that's DearestScooter, or let me know through the form on our website. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, this is our, a very different style of a TV recap-esque episode. And so this is similar to Dreaming of Newhart. This is a restful development, a succession of restful developments, which we always have a succession of meandering titles to everything too, but playfully meandering to bring you joy and delight in the deep dark night. So what you're going to be hearing, maybe it's parody, maybe it's satire, or maybe it's a dream itself of someone named Michael B., who repeatedly dreams of well, he doesn't realize it. But his dreams are incredibly similar to episodes of the Succession, and we get to listen in to him and his the team he works with, looking at his days and his nights. Oh, hey, Michael, thanks for coming in again, and thanks to you and your family for keeping such great. I'm really hoping that at some point things really do improve for you with all the work you're putting in, at least in providing these details. Oh, thanks. Yeah. It's yeah. I'm hoping I'm hoping things change too for me. So why don't you run through your week in your own words, and the best you can summarize it, and then we'll look at what comes up. I hope you don't mind me saying though that and I'm sorry I missed you last week. Seemed like you took a week off or something, but your weeks always seem dreamy to me. Okay, well yeah, so. Well, Okay. Where do I start? You know the Golden Arches and then on and off, but particularly when I was a kid, the Golden Arches had playlands and a lot of lore and TV show commercials with good old Ronald, our friend, and his friend Grimace. And then the person who borrows hamburgers and the fry friends. There's also like a pilot. I can't remember her name. Birdie McGee or something. And but anyway, so my brother Job, we're siblings, close in age. And Job came to the banana stand, and he was like, hey, I want to basically create a character for to promote the banana stand based on the person who takes burgers without permission. Not the person from I think it was in the comic books, and then and then there was a movie where they said, I gladly pay you for a hamburger, gladly pay you tomorrow for a hamburger today. So he said, yeah. But this person would also hold bananas too tightly, his character. And, when you hold it, that's like, I don't know, how come we've never done that before? Could you start something? I mean, you only work in dreams, but wonder if I carried around a banana gently all day long, if that would have helped me not grab it, and stay calm. Probably not. Probably I'd just end up with bananas. And also it's because Job wants, his double, two, his fancy bananas. But then he also wants, he goes back, goes back and forth on the bananas, and he's trying to negotiate with me. Even though the idea is not particularly useful, he wants a right to unlimited free bananas, double dipped with 2 sticks and everything. So we go back and forth, and then he wants rights to the show. Never said though about the idea of charging people to carry around bananas for banana com. Do you think we could do you think that we could do that? Well, Michael, I'm just in dreams here. Banana com, the banana com method, BCM. Banana, it might have something there. But also my father, so, what do we got here? So there was these permits that were supposed to be filed, right? And I thought they were, but of course they were supposed to be by my father. And then Job, my father says, well, Job can get into he can file the permits if through his magical skills. So those are 2 things. But then also me having this boundary, which I guess it's not a dream. It's like symbolic of all this stuff with my other siblings and my mother is, hey, this isn't a free banana stand, or you can't have all, just trying to get them to be more conscientious, kind of whatever that term is. But everybody turns to me and they say, how could you do that to your brother, kind of thing? And they also kind of use that as yes, you just want to be in control. And I said, no, I'm the responsible one. Which I don't think my dreams don't matter about this. I know, I am the responsible one. And yes, it's symbolic, Job's, banana demands. But also, it's not symbolic, it's real. It's just, I don't know, couldn't he have come up with the banana adder? Or banana, not additives of bananas, we're adding things to bananas, but that could be another. Why couldn't you come up with that idea? We're going to, add a banana plus or something. We've plussed our bananas. I'm looking for, I feel like I'm on my own. I guess I'm talking about the wrong things here. realize this is a dream session. But basically, I felt like everybody was saying I'm not generous and I'm in control. And, I consider myself very generous. Now, I guess my awareness is short-sighted, and I can be not very open-minded or open-viewing. So I did make an assumption that this woman was our former housekeeper, or my mother's former housekeeper, I guess. So I offered to give her a ride, which kind of became a bit of created a lot of confusion. But also, I think, the interesting part that leaked through my dreams was that there's like this auction, and so my sister's putting on this auction, and then my mother and Lucille Estero are in competition. Well, she's not really in competition with my mother, but my mother doesn't want her at the auction. So she gives her tickets to a show and says, Buster, you're going to bid on your mother for a date, so which I give up, give the most. Then I'm also kind of like, my sister get into competition because she's like, oh, I'm doing this good thing for the wetlands and cleaning up. And I say, yeah, I don't believe that. So there's that. But then I try to help my sister out because because I felt like, well, because she came back, because I guess I could created a situation. So I bid on her to show her I was sorry, I guess. Then, because of the confusion of giving, so the woman I gave a ride to was not Lupe, and she was under the mistaken impression because some of Buster's, statuettes were in the back of the car, his homework statuettes, and there was also, was that nail polish on the car? Oh, there's this whole thing also where everybody's using my father's car but me. Meanwhile, I don't have, a car because, the stair car, Tobias parked it, he parked it in the wrong spot, created a big thing. So I have to go down and clear that up. And then I find my son there at the place where you clear up mistakes. And he, Joe was supposed to file the permits, but then my son was put in the position of filing the permits at a time where permits are not allowed to be filed. So he was trying to clear up the confusion around that. Meanwhile, Job is whistling all the time. And first I thought it was related to my brother's key. My brother kept I don't know. I said, what do you, he was inadvertent whistling. And, then my father actually is not happy with Job because of George Michael doing the job Job was supposed to do. And, the whole reason I couldn't use my father's car was because I spilled ice cream as a kid. Or I don't think that's really the reason, but just a memory of mine that he thought ice cream was so important. And, then kind of the idea recently that I've become aware of outside of here or outside of dreams said, gratitude is an action. This has nothing to do with anything except that I'm learning for myself, and I guess I am also monitoring my siblings. That someone told me gratitude. If gratitude is an action, the action is taking care of what you're grateful for. And I noticed that my siblings did not have gratitude because they, there's a nail polish. Job left a magic trick that stained one of the seats. My brother's got this car full of statuettes. So then I was like, I'm going to spill some ice cream in this car, or I'm going to have ice cream in this car. Okay, Michael, well, that's quite a dream there. Oh, that was your week. Oh boy, quite a week, Michael. Well, we also have all your dreams here. and a lot to think about in your dream. But one thing got my attention the most, and I have to apologize because I really worked with my assistant because I said, I don't know if this is working, but one of the things was the frozen butter. Do you want to tell me about the frozen butter in your dream, or frozen butter? Okay, I don't know if it was butter that was too hard. And this was, in the dream, it brought me an awareness of this as an experience. And I guess maybe it is about my siblings, or maybe it's, oh boy, it's all about me, huh? You don't have to say anything. I can tell by your look. But the idea is that people would have I've had this experience before, right? Where my butter's been too hard, particularly at a wedding, because it's shaped like some sort of flower normally, or maybe a Mother's Day buffet, but I can't think of a Mother's Day buffet that I was allowed to go to, But anyway, I have to believe that even in my family, at least for me, and I would think my son would be able to do this too, you make the most of the situation. Now, I think it would be interesting to see how Tobias, for example, or Cousin Greg in the dream would deal with frozen or too hard butter. But the idea is so I just want to talk about what I learned from the dream before you get into it. But I guess what I learned is more factual, that I've always made the most, and I'm not saying this makes me an optimist, but my strategy when I've done this in the past is, you still try to put it on, and then it usually rips your bread. Now, hopefully, if you're at a wedding or some sort of situation where you have this kind of butter, you don't want to wait for the butter to get soft, because by that time you'll finish your salad if there's a soup, and you'll be on your main, or your main will be, so you do want to eat the bread. So what I usually do, though, and this is free, I don't know if you use this, or I know your assistant's electronically intelligent, but what I do is I take the butter, and then I still try, because you can't really tell until you try, or you see somebody else try. Even if you see somebody else try, it doesn't matter. But you basically, hopefully the bread has quality crust. And then all you do is maybe you try to put it on first and your bread's already shredded, but then you squeeze the butter between the crust. So your index and your middle finger, like you're forming a C with your left hand or your right hand. You're placing the butter within the C, or a half circle, or like Pac-Man or whatever. You're not doing any Pac-Man motions, though. And then ideally you're centering the butter in the middle of the bread. Then you're compressing the what is that called? Not rind, crust. And so your thumb is pressing down on the bottom crust, and then your top two fingers. And then what you do is you massage it. You massage the butter between the crust. Now, is this like a regular piece of bread with butter spread on it? No, but I'll tell you what, it's pretty darn good, because you still will have the bread. Yes, it's smushed and compressed, but if it's a good chewy crust, it's almost like a treat on its own. And maybe other people have methods for dealing with that. But what I realized is in my dream, this is the only reason I related to my mother and my siblings, is that when you're at a certain level of expectation, this created there's multiple layers for this Connor in my dreams. The oldest brother, he does feel a sense of responsibility in this dream to everything being perfect, though his expectation, well, I guess it's on others. It's everyone else's responsibility, the kitchen staff, the event planner, that everything goes perfectly. And for Connor, it does have to go perfectly. And it is funny, in another part of the dream, he's talking to the dancers before they go on stage, comparing his experience to the butter, to their experience, whatever he's inferring, in that they've both had their share of hardships and they're equal, because he had a thing with the butter earlier. But yeah, for someone to see that, it's not really a hardship. It's like, I mean, I prefer this butter be soft, but I don't know. Maybe I just never been a host, or maybe I'm just too focused on the people. It's just like, it's butter. I don't get over it. But I guess when you reach a certain level, you expect to be catered to by caterers, but in a perfect way. Because the other thing about the dream was that, I guess I didn't explain the dream part, just the butter part. So in the dream, the Connor, Roy, who's the oldest sibling in my recurring dreams about this Roy family, he's a bit of he doesn't have the same mom as the other siblings. He's a little bit more, he's not interested in running the business. So he's kind of like a man of leisure. And, but anyway, he is in charge of this, catering, or he's not the event planner. He's kind of like the event, I don't know, like he's like, I don't do any work. I just point out the imperfections, like the butter, which, and again, in my dreams, I realize now this, and maybe this is totally separate from the butter, but Marcia and Marcia, is a little bit like my ignorance. So I finally see that part now with my assumptions I make about other people. And that is an intentional, unintentional thing about my dreams, that the siblings, or some people insist on calling her Marcia sometimes and not Marcia, and that I'm almost misremembering it within my dreams. That kind of got handed to me on a silver butter platter this week through the dream. But so the butter is too hard. It came right out of it wasn't allowed to reach room temperature, or was frozen butter, not frozen anymore, but still hard. I think this is a pretty archetypal experience. So Connor says, he's like, this is unacceptable. Maybe he is an extreme version of my behavior with the bananas, because he does kind of say, no more serving of butter or planning of events for anybody involved in this, and basically assumes that all is lost as far as the whole event goes. Does that make sense? Yeah, and I did have some back and forth with my assistant, because I did feel like, wow, what a powerful way to look at it, Michael. I almost don't want to have my, look through my assistant's notes, but I will. And what great insight about Marcia and Marcia from you. Okay, so I did ask my assistant, I said, come on, we're not here to instruct Michael. We're here to, we're not even here to show you, I'm not here to map your dreams for you, Michael, anymore. But to just help you see what you might be seeing. Okay, go ahead. Why don't you try? Okay, so the first thing, my assistant says, what if this is really just social anthropology of hospitality? Hospitality. Sorry, Michael, I misspoke. That shared food functions kind of signal that, hey, we're at the watering hole, all is well. And that there's a sense of belonging and competence. And the small details, like the temperature of the butter, are micro rituals of care. maybe the same thing, seeing your brother not going along with that, with the 2 sticks and like the double stick banana thing. And when it doesn't work out, people react disproportionately because instead of the practicality of the butter, it's become a symbolic thing. Kind of like you, is the practicality of the bananas. I guess I am interpreting, but like, is that a practical thing or a symbolic thing? Then there's like psychodynamic micro failure model. That, you know, things when you're, you know, you feel like you got to perform, that small errors equal big judgment, and they're evidence that you're not capable. And that also, even though it's something small, it attracts disproportionate attention. And maybe this whole idea that just one, like, though in the dream counter he reacts that way, maybe we're seeing something deeper that he doesn't see, of his, like, wondering, hey, where do I fit in? There's system theory and reputation economies. You know, when environments are status-driven, these details are proxies for capability and trustworthiness. And this is a system where optics matter more than substance. So maybe there's some sort of Freudian domestic symbolism. Food preparation can relate to domestic intimacy, emotional nourishment. And maybe that means the hardness of the butter is related to comfort that is unavailable or resistant. Warmth cannot be accessed when expected. Like someone wasn't paying attention to the details or didn't care. And maybe Connor's feelings are a good thing, even though in the dream it seems ridiculous. This is a comfort butter on bread, even though you're saying you can adjust to frozen things. Is some part of you saying you don't need to? Okay, what about Venus being out of season? You know, butter and shared meals are associated with Venus themes, pleasure, ease, hospitality, social harmony. But frozen or rigid means social warmth could be constrained or delayed. Social ease is disrupted, social friction. It's supposed to be smooth and effortless putting on butter, like butter, you know? What if there's some sort of friction awareness? Hard butter's unexpected friction makes everybody notices. What does it mean to you when friction's visible? And then I said, I don't know if these are as out there. So I said to my assistant, try harder. Okay, now what if we go into some sort of, I'm not familiar with this either, Michael, object agency theory, animist material culture lens. So what if these objects in dreams are actors rather than props? The butter is not passive, it's actively withholding cooperation. This object was supposed to be effortless and soft and helpful, maybe caring or comfort item, but it's decided itself of its own buttery will to make, you know, now all those other people, they were like, the butter was soft and it must have gone hard on its own, in the dream at least, because everybody else was trying to manage it. And then Connor's reaction is like this reaction to uncooperative butter. I thought you were going to do something. I thought you were going to be easy and soft and pliant even. Would you consider butter pliant, Michael? I would never use that term for butter, but I think that is an accurate use of that term. Okay, so what if the systems you rely on are harder to maintain, huh? There's also thermodynamic symbolism. This is back into this energy and entropy idea. Okay, so this is maybe about energy flow. Think about it like energy flow. Now, warmth is movement and exchange, right? Expansion. Cold, it can be, shrinkage, frozenness, stalled, not moving. And, the more frozen it is. Also, the idea that butter's both a solid and a liquid. And it's ideally controlled softness. It's holding its form, especially in those flowers, until you, as the user, reform it into its comfort state. So all of a sudden, this energy that was supposed to be flowing in an almost perfect way, especially related to, even satiety, right? At a fundraiser, which, about, in a sense about raising money for a good cause, being generous, all of a sudden the energy is not circulating, and when energy flow stops, everybody's going to notice, and what does that mean? And then finally, my assistant likes to look at these simulation stagecraft theories. So banquet, this is a planned event, so it's a constructed environment. It's a setting, success, stability. So continuity errors could be revealing to you that it was a dream, that it was artificial, or that, what if we're talking about, what if there's some sort of continuity glitch, a detail that should be corrected that is not, then you're noticing it in the dream. Spare no expense, Connor, he probably said at some point. So how could this butter possibly be hard? This is the first thing served other than drinks. Something is off. Are you in a simulation or not? A carefully staged environment has revealed some sort of imperfection. Is it organic, natural imperfection, or is it to say, hey, something's happening here? So what do you think of all that, Michael? Okay, yeah. I have a question. Anything from my dream stuck out to you that I didn't? You say, hey, let's focus on this, my messages. Oh, thanks for that question. There were a couple of things that I started to wonder about with Connor. Well, you didn't talk about Shiv's client or Shiv very much, and that whole thing. And, you did talk about Roman, but this intimacy and doing things a little differently, but being, exposed or whatever. Then Connor wants to, does Connor actually, Connor's idea that he could be a responsible, in the executive branch, he doesn't seem ambitious to me. So, it's just, that just stuck out. I said, you want to be in charge of things, but not your father's company? A lot of times I think about, when Will is in the dream and belonging, then kind of the father stuff. And it is with your father too, of Logan being present physically versus, his presence is kind of a myth or a legend or an influence. from off stage, his gravity, and then everything, the constant checking in, the constant, your dream is very rapid paced, but like so many people, hey, what should we do here? Call this person. Oh, I got to take a call. Oh, there's news coming in. All this, these distractions that aren't, that all feel essential or something. I think that's it. But, let's go to, you wanted to talk about PT and exercise and Logan. And I think Marsha and Marcia we already saw. Okay, let's talk about some of the theories. What about social reentry? I mean, maybe this ties to some of this romance stuff from the previous weeks we've met. Even though you missed last week's appointment, so I don't know what happened to you last week, but, he's re-entering into his social role. I mean, that's kind of a theme of the dream, maybe even, or maybe it was an antisocial role, if you don't mind me saying. And the tension with that, like, here's the question I was wondering, and it doesn't have to be answered because I don't know if there is an answer, but when you think about, your father and what's happening with him, and then you think about Logan and, what does Logan really want before the later parts of the dream? Is any of his hesitance or frustration from a place of like, wouldn't it be nice if my kids took over and I could relax? Or not that that's possible for the dream, Logan, you have. But like, do you have any experience with that? It's like, hey, it's not even possible for me to count on Job. I'm not linking the two. I guess I'm trying to be further outside the box of like, in a dream, was there any part of Logan, even 1%, that was like, like maybe I don't want to do any of this stuff, because he's going to return to kind of meet expectations, whether they're internal or external, about who he is and how he should handle things, even though there was this disruption, and that even though things are never, it doesn't feel like there's a status quo. There is, there's never a steadiness. Maybe there's like this sociological power theory where temporarily the power structure and the authority structure was inverted. And for a brief time, Logan has a dependency. And maybe that's a resistance to being dependent instead of like what I was saying earlier. Again, I try to be open to everything. And Marcia's trying to say, hey, if what you want is on the other side of this, then you have to do this, and you kind of have to be malleable and listen and follow through on this and have slow progress or incremental change. So is there any sort of gradual, unavoidable transitions happening for you? And Freudian-wise, maybe, my assistant said, this is so authority and around your physical presence. Like, what if your physical presence is the domain of limits and reality even? And this is about some sort of control and limitation and the illusion of control even. Because that's kind of maybe what's happening with Logan. He's the illusion that he's always been dominant, and a dominant, almost instant force, like a change in the weather. And what they seem to be saying is, oh, no, the weather actually has to move slowly across the globe here and formulate here and then sit in this zone here and then move here, Logan. And they said, no, this is too frustrating for me. And then she says, well, if you want to reestablish yourself as a weather system, you have to slowly you have to do this, what they're saying. Like, your desire for control can't overcome reality. Or Logan's, I'm sorry for saying that. I mean, I can't, but I meant in a general sense. Could be Saturn related if we look at it astrologically in discipline. Like Saturn as a structured effort and time together. Like, so Logan's, like resistant or opposed to, or impatient to these, natural astrological processes. And Mercy is saying, no time and patience. This is going to take some time and patience and slow change. You can't have it your way. So some sort of slower path maybe that you're on. I mean, maybe like you said, maybe it's an incredibly slow path, but are you on a path? You know, we are work. You said you did do some work. Okay, what about like embodied systems, object agency? Like, what if your physical presence is an environment with its own agenda and it's negotiating with you? So the dream is about your physical presence and negotiating with Michael, and your conscious identity is trying to maintain an old way, but your physical presence is saying something has changed, so we need to do this sort of new mode of operation. But also, I mean, the dream, I don't know, maybe this is a desire you have for Marcia, like to say, hey, I'm going to mediate between these things. And especially if you relate to any of Logan's frowny faces, furrowed browing, she's saying, okay, you can furrow your brow all you want, but if you want, like, is there, I mean, I know I would have a desire for a mediator like that. And then if we go into simulation stagecraft, you know, what if it's a rehearsal place, right? Before returning to the stage or going on stage, you have to rehearse, or this is a rewrite. We're rehabilitating the play through new practice over and over again. It's not perfect, though, right? That's why it's practice. So this is some sort of public persona being reconstructed, and wanting to go straight to the performance without rehearsal. And someone saying, no. I mean, if you want to get to the show, you have to do this rehearsal work. So I don't know, maybe it's not about realizing we're in a simulation so much as saying, am I still in rehearsal? What am I in rehearsal for? Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about was Bill and Greg and Tom. Because it was powerful, kind of how Bill is returning best boss ever. And then he kind of tries to help Tom navigate. He also has a strange glee. I don't know if it's because it's retiring, the way you put it in the dream, in that he goes, oh, yeah, we have two viable options, but neither option is actually viable for Tom. And you could know... you could know nothing. Either way, everything's fine. And you just watch, the power plant and keep the power on. But Tom, in this part of the dream at once, he actually, I said, wow, this is surprising that Tom can grasp what's happening. And then he tells Greg, he actually seeks help. He tries to trust his gut, and then Greg ends up telling Jerry in the dream. So it was no win that ended up actually, like, I mean, I guess in some sense. And then then Greg isn't honest with him, and then He says it must have been Shiv then. So this idea that you're being, again, maybe this organizational idea, double bind that you're in. You're responsible, but you don't get the car. You're trying to have boundaries with the bananas, but then everybody says you're not generous. Like you have these competing obligations, but you don't really, sorry to be directly interpreting, but it's just these ones, maybe it's some sort of internal communication theory and the messages aren't coming through. So that the communication you're having, like the song says, communication breakdown. And you're displacing, your trust is being displaced. And there's not a sense of certainty, right? It could be some sort of projection and misplaced blame. This is psychodynamics, I believe. And that's kind of what's happening with like it's misdirected attribution. And is there some sort of sense of complex loyalty or is there layers to relationships that you're being impacted by or not seeing? With Freudian, maybe there's some sort, I guess Tom was getting some sort of knowledge, like a bit like the forbidden fruit or something. And he does try to act on it. And maybe this idea that the psyche cannot keep stuff like this contained. So instead of doing that, it migrates and transforms. And maybe this is some sort of circulation thing that's happening. This could also be related to Mercury, because information flow, keeping secrets, miscommunication, could be a disruption in Mercury, that the messages change like a game of telephone, and that changes like loyalties. But also the sense that maybe this is also in the dream, that information moves faster than trust. Could also be some sort of system theory being tested out within you about honesty or who is loyal to you. Maybe there's unexpected realignments happening. Maybe it is something with your sense of, I think you used the term ignorance, being pointed out to you, but also you trying to be generous with your sister, but then also then afterwards, something else not working out. That couldn't have been easy. Then maybe there's the idea of the role of the messenger. If this is a simulation, this is maybe a plot device. I don't know. I know we have to wrap up, but I was thinking about Roman and Grace and the name Grace a lot. And then Roman's kind of complex relationships. It definitely represents some inner part of you. I think that that as a team, we could get to know together a little bit better, and be more open to this Roman within you. But let's just stick with the dream part, by the way. Let's stick with the dream part. Okay, so there's distance and control in the dream. There's this ambivalence at the beginning with Grace, but then he has this heightened attention and somewhat of a strange way of sensing his boundaries or what he wants, like taking kind of pleasure in complications for others or conflicting drives towards what does it mean to be independent or attached to something. Maybe some sort of like this teasing or he wasn't so much was he trying to undermine his rival, or was he taking pleasure in the undermining? Was it both pleasurable and non-pleasurable to him? Like, but was he also signifying his status, right? Because he could do that, Like maybe that's where some of the tension came from, or they're like, oh man. And that even the attention is like a currency between the waiter and Grace, that currency that Roman didn't have. But I think about for you, what does attention and hierarchy and relationships mean? Then there's observation versus intimacy. Like it's like holding opposed emotional stances. That's kind of what we were seeing, right? Like this coldness and this heightened desire when she's desired. Is that it makes some sort of security where it's mediated through distance or observation, or the triangle that they had, is that make it, because it's indirect and displaced, make it feel better? Or is it just offering this idea of an indirect pathway to you being more engaged emotionally? Or is it some sort of Freudian power displacement desire thing, like competitive energy socially rather than directly? Like the control is substituting for the closeness? I don't know. Is it Mars and Venus in tension? The competition asserting versus connection and attraction. Maybe there's a misalignment between Mars and Venus in their connection and energy transfer, and that being assertive is easier than being tender. I don't know. Because in your dreams, there is some low-level tenderness with the sweater and the smell of the sweater with Roman. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I know that's a couple weeks ago, but maybe it's more of like a like a triangle relationships and public performance thing. Even though no one was observing it, the waiter, in a sense, and Grace were observing Roman as he was observing them. So it's like performative. I mean, it's related to, even though it's related to performance, it's also performative in another sense. And then, yeah, maybe this like under the stagecraft simulation lens, it's also like the spot, the curtain going wet. Like as soon as you're that there's something about the observation. I don't know. I guess like, I don't want to dig too deep into it too early with you, Michael. Well, I appreciate that, but yeah. Well, I think that's all the time we have. I wish we had more to talk about Kendall and his date and all that, but I think we're probably doing pretty good here with you, and just keep going forward, and we'll just both rest this week again and see what you dream of this week and how it relates to everything, okay? All right, thanks. Okay, good night. Good night.
Most people don't realize how much of their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it together at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/safer. Protect yourself now at aura.com/safer.